Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is the Agenda podcast for Friday the 23rd of February.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
Good morning, Lane, and welcome into the podcast.
Hey, we made it.
We made it to what is the end of a working week for most people, but is what is probably the start of the working week for us.
Yeah. Well, like, does it work, really? We get to watch sport, drink beers, and talk shit.
Well, like the Islamic calendar, we start on a Friday
Yeah.
and we work our way through.
Yeah.
Plenty of sport on this weekend, and it's sort of, it's strange that it's come around. It feels like it's taken a long time to come around so quick that we are now into the thick of everything.
Yes, Super Rugby starts tonight, and it's all go. There's games tonight, tomorrow afternoon, cricket tonight, cricket Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's good. I like it.
So
I like
do
it.
I. But the biggest issue is, obviously no one talked to each other because the Crusaders are playing the Chiefs tonight at 7 o'clock and the Black Caps are playing Australia tonight at 7 o'clock. Same time.
Yeah.
How does this kind of thing happen? Obviously there's not one person who's like the sports czar who gets to decide everything that happens. But surely there's a bit of talking between people, wouldn't there be?
I doubt it. I don't think so.
Clearly there isn't.
There's clearly not anyone talking, I don't think. And that, I think, shows. I was expecting Eden Park to sell out. I was like, if there was such a buzz around cricket that here comes the number one team in the world, and it's Australia, and they've seen a damn good team with some big names, and it's not sold out. So maybe some other people are keen to watch the footy.
Maybe a few walk-ups, do you think? Is it quite a ways off selling out, do you know?
I don't know. I mean, usually when it's close to selling out, there's a bit of hype around.
Yeah.
It's going to sell out soon. Get your tickets, last 100 left. But I've heard nothing. So I don't know. Hopefully it's a big walk-up. It's going to be good. Sunday afternoon's going to be good at 1 as well. But, But, I mean, they could have started the Super Rugby maybe at 5?
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Although it's 5, quite a niggly time for people like getting home from work.
It's the Tron.
Yeah. Oh, no, I mean for the viewing public at home.
I guess.
But yeah, you're right, the Tron. You could definitely take the day off.
Yeah, you could definitely. I mean, it's Friday. Most people are either tradies or some sort of industry where they can knock off at 4.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a ripper in Hamilton. It's always a good time when the Chiefs are playing.
Yeah.
Town gets behind it. It's the Crusaders.
Yeah.
It's the grudge match.
You're right. No town gets behind their team quite like Hamilton does, I think.
And you know what?
Town's a buzz.
And they've got a central city stadium. Everyone can pretty much walk. You can walk from town to the stadium.
You can walk from Packensafe to the stadium.
Totally. You can walk from anywhere. Whereas Auckland, it's not really like that. You can't. It's actually a pain in the ass. You've actually got to plan your day.
It sucks.
The only person that really loves it is Matt Heath, who lives next to the stadium, and he walks 100 metres and goes. But everyone else is like, I've got to get to the fucking stadium.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, you're thinking about how you're going to leave.
Yeah.
So that sucks. That's why this whole waterfront stadium thing needs to happen.
Yep.
That's why Victoria Park needs to happen and not Colin Maiden.
Yeah. But like I said, they are playing at Eden Park. The Black Caps, Boult's first game back.
Yes.
Since 2019, you have played more games on Eden Park than Trent Boult has.
That is a horrible stat.
That is an awful stat, isn't it?
Well, poor Will Somerville as well. He hit me up in an event going, because when we played that game, the Movember game.
Who's Will Somerville?
He used to play for the Black Caps.
Oh, yes.
Spinner.
Yes,
looks like Dave Grohl.
Yep.
Looks like Wolverine. Usually only played overseas because spinners don't play home tests.
Yes.
Anyway,
Big tall fella, yeah.
He hit me up. Plays for Auckland. He hit me up and he goes, because we played that Movember ACC game under lights at Eden Park, and he goes, "How did you do that?" And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've been playing for Auckland for 10 years. I have never played on the main pitch at Eden Park under lights ever." And I was like, "Bullshit." He goes, "Nah." I was like, "I'll tell you what. Next time we play, you can play in our team because we suck and we need help."
Look, well, I think that says more about you and what you're doing, than what we're doing, because I've played under lights at Eden Park. I hit a 4 at Eden Park.
Did you?
Of Steve Devine, yeah.
Suck on that, Devine.
French cut down to the boundary.
Yep.
But I actually hit 2 boundaries. The second one was Ernest, but this isn't about me. This is about the Black Caps.
Yep.
The pre-game is going on today at Empire. I've just taken a bunch of piss up to the Empire, so there's going to be some deals on there on Export Ultras. This is kind of, you mentioned yesterday, a must-win game, though, for the Black Caps, isn't it? So,
it is.
Because if we have, obviously we have to win this for any hope of winning the series. But I, kind of feel like we've got a sniff.
Yeah, that last game, what worries me is that last game Australia didn't play well. They didn't actually bowl and field very well at all.
They bowled like shit.
Yeah, and their batting was a bit scratchy. Apart from Mitchell Marsh, the big yak,
And then your new favourite player, Tim David.
Apart from those guys, everyone else looked a little bit out of nick. Like Travis Head never really got going. The wounded David Warner, they scratched around for a little bit, but they weren't timing it that well. And that's why I was thinking, if we can't beat them on a bad day, I'd hate to get them when they hit their straps.
Yeah.
What gives me the fear is the last game I seriously watched at Eden Park, a T20 against Australia. We scored 250 in the first innings, and I got absolutely hammered at the halftime, thinking it's
in the bag.
It's in the bag, and then had to sit and watch Australia chase down easily within 18 overs, 250. It was so hard to watch.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be a high scorer. I don't know if New Zealand use the same tactic and bat first again and put a total up. I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, and then look, I tell you
it's
what,
up to us.
The punt that I've got on is both teams to hit 10 or more sixes, paying $3.
Yeah.
Now
we hit 13, and I think they were about 15.
Yeah, but that was at a slightly larger stadium as well than Eden Park. So
more regulation.
Yeah.
Do you think, because I know they have interviewed a couple of the players, and they talked about the length of the boundaries at different grounds. Obviously, it's something they're aware of. Do you think with something like Eden Park, where it's this bizarre rhombus shape, do you think that factors into how they play it? If you're a batsman, are you aware of where the short boundary is, or do you not worry too much about that?
Yeah, you would be. You would be. And the straight boundary is obviously pretty short at Eden Park, so you can probably afford to go hard at the ball and mistime them for six, you know what I mean? Like, not many people are getting caught straight. But then again, it gets in your head that you can do that, and you might mistime it straight to mid-off or mid-on. You know, it's...
Yeah.
I suppose... Yeah, I mean...
I suppose you can't predetermine your shot, but there are two sort of corners. One where the chipping bunker was at the G9.
Yes, very short.
Yeah, and it's like...
It's like the northeast.
Oh.
It's the northeast part of the... It juts into the field. Like if you had a helicopter view... If you had a helicopter view, look down, it's kind of off to the right. Yeah, I know. It's dangerously short.
And then almost on the opposite side, there's like a really long and almost square boundary, like a corner in there. So, I mean, I guess you can't really predetermine that kind of stuff. But yeah, like you say, if you hit it dead straight back over the bowler's head, you could be in business. So I don't mind that. What was it, 10?
10 or more sixes, both teams paying $3.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. It's like you say, even they didn't bat tremendously, and their openers, Head and I forget the other one, but they didn't go too well, but I think they both scored 20 at a run of ball. So even not going well, they're still ticking along, and they're still accumulating. Whereas I feel like kind of depend on a couple of big knocks.
It's Head and Warner that open.
Head and Warner, yeah,
two lefties.
But then I think I feel like, and this may not be true, but I feel like we're waiting on Finn Allen to go bang, or Ravindra and Conway it was in the last game. But I don't feel like it's as consistent as the Aussies, or are they just in my head?
They're just in your head. Yeah. They're massively in your head. But also, fucking Australia, they always produce. It's the equivalent of our rugby. We just keep producing. We're a rugby factory that just keep producing great players across every position that we can basically send around the world to play in other teams.
Yeah.
We produce coaches like that as well. Same in Australia. They just churn out cricketers that would play for an international team anywhere around the world, and they just pull them out of their nowhere, like that Punisher Tim David. Who would be in any team in the world, 100%. And they've just brought him out, and he slogs 30 off 5 balls, wins the game for them, has a gold chain, looks like a dick, looks like a douche, making heaps of money in the IPL.
Yeah, you're so right. It's the equivalent of there will be a story in the Australian media at some point this Super Rugby season going, who the fuck is Shea Fihaki? We thought Will Jordan being out was the end of the Crusaders. Now they got this guy. What the fuck?
I know they must be gutting for them, because I think rugby's a bit more on the decline in Australia.
Yeah,
that they must look over and go, fucking hell.
Yeah.
It just it's relentless.
Yeah.
It is relentless.
You're right. And the Australian cricketers are like that. So, yeah, that game, if you're not coming down to the pre-game, if you're not going along to the game itself, it's at, I think, 7:10 they've sort of put down for first ball, is it?
Yeah, 7. I think it's 7 or 10 past. I think it's 7.
Yeah.
I think it's 7. I think that both games are at 7.
Or maybe the anthems will be at 7, and Adam Zampa will be back up to his old tricks, because if you're not following the ACC on Instagram, you would have missed out on a great video that someone sent in, and it's a textbook scratch and sniff from Adam Zampa.
He's a big fan of the scratch and sniff.
Is he?
Yeah, I've seen him do that before.
He's a big proponent.
I've also seen him put his finger up Marcus Stoinis's butt during an anthem as well.
Oh, so do you think he knows that the camera's on him and he's up to something? Or?
I don't know.
This one didn't look like it.
No, it was because it was a wide shot, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was a wide shot, camera's panning along, and then there's just a little, what is he up to here? So we reposted that on Instagram. He's seen it and he commented on it. And he's like, this is a Seinfeld episode. I don't know exactly what Seinfeld episode he's reacting to. I remember there was one where Jerry was scratching his nose and a woman was looking at him from side on, looked like he was picking his nose, and he had to try and explain away, I'm actually scratching my nose.
Yeah, right.
I don't know about that, Adam.
But I mean, Adam, to give him the benefit of the doubt, his hand didn't disappear into his pants.
No.
For a real scratch and sniff. Because a real scratch and sniff is a full dive, deep dive, a cup, and a bring back up for a sniff. This was on the outside of his playing trousers, where he played with the junk and then pulled it up for a sniff.
This is heavy petting. But after presumably a warm up, I don't know. Look,
I like Adam Zampa when he came on the scene with his hair net and everything and all that kind of stuff. I was dubious, but then having seen what he gets up to with Stoinis, I think they're a couple of great New Zealanders.
Yeah, I know. You instantly want to hate them, but then when I think they're aware of their sort of how they're perceived. Yeah, and they're a bit more like, they're good. I like them. I'm same with the Big Show a little bit, actually. To be honest, he's easy to hate as well. But I've seen some stuff with the Big Show, and I quite like him almost as well. It's his off-field presence for me. Yeah, winning the Jesse Ryder Cup by falling off the back of the cart, exactly, breaking his leg at a barbecue piss. I feel like he's a real menace on the piss. That's why I like him. When Australia, remember when they got done for pissing up on the balcony of that hotel all night? It was after I think they'd won the Ashes a few years ago. Remember, and they got they pissed and people complained about it. I was like, get out of here. They were still in their kit. I'd like to imagine it was almost, I guarantee you it was Travis Head, but yeah, who cares, though? I'd like to think that it was your Stoinises and your Zampas out there as well. There are some likeable players out there. Some very unlikable ones, like David Warner, who we're hoping, and you're not even hoping, he's going to cop it tonight again. Yeah, absolutely, and so he should. Yeah, 100%. All right, time for a quick break, and then we'll be back with a bit of Super Rugby. Mike Lane, tonight the Super Rugby is kicking off at 7 o'clock with your beloved Chiefs taking on the Crusaders. The Chiefs are heavy favourites at $1.47 to Crusaders $2.80, which I thought was pretty interesting. Although having looked at their team, the Chiefs do have a pretty powerful team, despite all of the losses. Yeah, and it's funny because in pool play, the Chiefs have got Crusaders' number. In the past few years, I think they've won 5 out of 6 or something in pool play. Yeah, they hump us in the and when it comes to the playoffs. Yes, admittedly. And we talked about this last year. Where would you? Because the Chiefs beat the Crusaders twice in pool play last year, and it's like in the second game, do you almost throw it because you don't beat the Crusaders 3 times in 1 year? But that second game was the game of the year. Yeah, it was. That was an absolute screamer of a game. That one that the Chiefs won. I think they nicked it by maybe 1 or 2 points. Yeah, but it was an absolute screamer. But they're playing in the Tron, so that helps as well. Yeah, rabid Tron fans. I love when you watch it on Sky Sport 9 with our commentary, and you see some of the units that support Chiefs rugby. It makes my heart sing. I love the balcony across like one end of FMG Stadium. There's all the houses, and at the top floor they can see over into the ground. Yeah. That looks like a good time. Yeah, and the ends, they've got an old school terrace end. They've got grass and they've got like basically metal railings that you can lean on. Yeah. So that's where you get real down and dirty with some Tronians there. Yeah. So your pick for that one, I presume, is Chiefs. Yeah. I've kind of sprinkled a bit of stuff across that. I've got Shooter Stevenson, Scotty J Stevenson to be anytime try scorer. Yeah. With on the Champagne Rugby bet, and I've also gone for another one with the Hauraki Breakfast, the tip. I've gone anytime try scorer, Scotty J Stevenson or Damien McKenzie. And Chiefs to win 13 plus, paying $5. 13 plus is aggressive. Yeah, it is aggressive, but I think if they're going to win, they'll win by a bit. Okay, that's my prediction anyway. But I mean, Crusaders at 280 is pretty good eating. Yeah, it is. But I kind of agree with you, despite being a one-eyed Cantabrian myself. It's sort of written in the stars. This one, it's in Hamilton. Yeah. I feel like they've retained the Chiefs more of their talented players than the Crusaders have. Crusaders have lost a lot. Yeah. I don't even think I could tell you who's starting at first 5 for the Crusaders this week.
Yeah, I couldn't either. Would they stick McLeod in there? No.
No, I don't know. But I mean, look, you look at the Crusaders backline and you're like, oh yeah, there's still some motherfuckers in there.
Oh yeah, there's Havili still in there, and you've got Amour.
Yeah,
is playing. Levi Amour's in there.
Been brought down there, so yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. That will be an excellent game to watch. You're going to have to make a business decision tonight as to which one of those you watch live.
Yeah, we've had to open up a second iHeart channel as well. So we've got ACC 2 now. So because obviously the cricket's on ACC 1. If you're listening on iHeart, it will pop up the Alternative Commentary Collection channel 2, which will have the Super Rugby, or obviously as always on Sky Sport 9, so you don't have to worry about syncing it up.
Yeah, which a lot of people have trouble finding that on the app. It's a completely separate channel.
Yeah.
So you just go up to because people go to Sky Sport 1 and they're watching the game and they're like, what button do I push to change the commentary?
Just go to 59.
Completely different channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how the app works. The Hurricanes are playing the Force. This one's going to be rampant.
That'll help them.
The Blues are playing the Drua. You would have to think that the Blues are going to thump them as well. The TAB agree with that, $1.12. And then Landers, Moana Pacifica. This, to borrow a phrase, is an absolute poo-slinger of a game. I think this is going to be two. I think they'll be battling it out for probably wooden spoon.
Yeah, but it's going to be a good game because it's O week. It's at Forsyth Bar. The Zoo's going to be absolutely heaving.
The Zoo's going to be rocking. I think now's as good a time as any while we're talking about rugby to digest, to break down the breakdown. Today's Super Rugby first 15 in the New Zealand Herald is near and dear to your heart, and it is the Chiefs Super Rugby all-time 15. And as a man who is from that area, I'd like to go over it with you.
Yep, okay.
Do you have the full list in front of you?
I do.
I don't.
This is the selection for the Herald. They got Tamalolo, and
Jason from the Cowboys.
Yeah. Hika Elliott and Ben Tamiafuna is the front row. Now that is a giant front row.
Yeah.
Especially Tamiafuna, who's over 130 kgs.
Yes. He had a clause in his contract when he went over to France that he had to be under a certain weight, and I think the weight was like 140, which is ridiculous.
But I think Takiaho has been stiffed on the hooker there.
I don't mind Hika Elliott. I feel like he means a lot to the region, meant a lot to the team. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not an all-timer though, I don't think. Maybe. He's probably a nice guy, great team guy, great vibe guy. Stick him on the bench.
Great vibe guy.
Stick him on the bench. In the second row, obviously, Brodie Retallick and Craig Clark.
Right.
So, and they've described him as one of the great Super Rugby battlers. Now, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really sings for me as a Chiefs fan.
I guess who else would you have in there though?
Oh, my cousin Toby.
Oh, your cousin Toby.
Toby Lynn. He played for 5 years with the Chiefs. Famously got suspended for biting a South African over in the final.
Oh, that's right. I've heard this story.
Real biter. Love biting.
Was this in the Super Rugby Grand Final?
Yeah.
The historic 66-point loss?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the one.
I'd probably bite someone's ear off.
Yeah. Real biter. And then obviously open side Sam Cane, the Cleveland Steamer. Number 8, Sione Leoaki. Can't argue with that. No. Brad Weber at 9. Who'd they have at 6?
It's cut off. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Liam Messam.
Liam
Messam said they had at 6. Can't argue with that.
Brad Weber at half, of course. Aaron Cruden at first 5. Yep, I'll give you that. Left wing, Sivi Vatu.
Yep.
That's not bad. Second 5, Sexy Bill. Yes. Yep. Centre, Richard Kahui. What a dangerously good-looking centre pairing in Kahui and Williams. That's one for the mums. That's really one for the mums. Mackenzie at fullback. On right wing, Masaga. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. There's some other... look, they've left out, people like Roger Randall.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Mills.
Yeah, Mills Muliina. Yeah, because, you'd put... Yeah, that's true, actually. Would you put Mackenzie at 10 and Muliina back at fullback?
Yeah, I think so, unless you want to put him in your Blues team. But
I guess Mills, I says if it's an all-time Chiefs, he was Blues for a while, wasn't he? And then he came over, so it wasn't a true bluer. No room for Anton Dobro or Marty Holler.
Yeah, Marty Holler.
A great open side Marty Holler, but saying that, Sam Cane's there. So
that's right.
Otherwise, I'd start arguing about Dwayne Monkley. See, because I've got a huge wide on for the team of the 90s. So your Richard Lowe's, your Graham Purvises, your Warren Gatlins, your Steve Gordons, your John Mitchells, your Dwayne Monkleys, your Kevin Putts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like that, That's,
So not too many changes to that team, except for one of the all-time names, Dwayne Monkley. That is one of the greatest names of all time.
I know. And did you know the best thing about Dwayne Monkley is his myth lives on. That he never really did any weight training at all. But he worked for a brewery and just delivered kegs every day.
Oh. And
he would never use a trolley pump.
Yeah.
He would just basically haul ass with kegs, 50-litre kegs into bars, and just that was his weight training.
And that guy is going to be stronger than anyone who's in the gym all day.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that leads me, Dwayne Monkley having one of the great names of all time, into our next story today, Lane. A Redditor. A person on Reddit has been forced into some corporate fun by their business. This is something I know you hate. This is something I know a lot of our listeners will hate. When the business is specifically requested that you all go out and have fun.
Yeah.
We're going to go do a scavenger hunt or blah, blah, blah. I don't know. He's gone, oh, yeah, righto, I'll do it. On the condition that I can name my team, whatever I want. And they've said, all right, you can, but it's sporting themed, so it has to be named after a New Zealand sportsman.
Yes.
Or sports person.
Yep.
So he's taken to Reddit and gone, all right, help me out here, guys. How do I tank this? What are some of the most ridiculous names in New Zealand sport that I can name my team just to get... It's about the little wins at work sometimes, isn't it? And I thought this would be right up your alley.
Absolutely.
Some of the messages that came through, the comments on that Reddit thread, Andrew Hoare, obviously, straight off the
solid.
bat. Tony Woodcock.
Yeah, solid.
Joe Moody, I don't think that one's that bad.
Nah.
Kendra Coxedge.
Yeah, that's always a good one, and I love the way she leans into it as well. And her nickname is Minge amongst the players. When she told me that, I was like, I love that.
Is that like one of those ironic nicknames, like calling a giant guy tiny?
Hey, Minge. I don't know. Yeah,
aggressive.
anyway.
This one is one of my. I think this is my favourite name in all of New Zealand sports, and it's Dick Quacks.
Yeah, that's good.
There was a joke straight under that said, "How do you know if you're a fast runner? You're Dick Quacks."
Yeah.
Black Cox. So this actually was. I had to look into this. This actually was the badminton team's name.
Yeah, they had to drop it because sponsors were starting to get nervous.
Yes.
Yeah, so they dropped the Black Cox. They missed an opportunity there. They needed to lean into that.
I know, but it really highlighted the problem with the way that we name all of our teams.
Yeah.
Because when we play against the American basketball team, and our team shows up and they are literally called the Tall Blacks, it raises some eyebrows over in the States. They're like, what?
These ain't Tall Blacks.
You guys are called the Tall Blacks? Could you imagine if the American basketball team was called the Tall Blacks?
That'd be amazing.
It's problematic. And someone else has put in here, and I know you like this one, Mark Chapman.
Yep, Mark David Chapman. Yep.
And then someone else put Scott Kugelon. I don't think that's too.
Yeah, look, I mean, look if he really wants to throw a spicy jalapeno into the team name.
Yeah. Is there anything else that jumps out to you? Did the Redditors miss any of the great names of New Zealand sport? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It would be great to do a really, really difficult
to pronounce
Pacific Island name, that they really, because when they did do the prizes, that would have been quite good.
Oh yeah, Triple T.
Yeah.
Or the
Tahuriorangi.
Yeah.
But that's I've only memorised his last name.
Tahuriorangi.
Tahuriorangi.
The fullback for the Highlanders at the moment, Jacob Ratumainavuki Neepkins. Yeah.
And so I just purely because if you win this manufactured fun,
yes,
someone from the exec is going to have to get up there, and they are going to panic because they're going to go, how do you say this name? I don't want to get this wrong.
It's Tavanawai.
Yeah, and they're like, oh no. And then I go, and that's a win.
Yeah,
that's a small win.
Yeah, 100%. I like that one. So if you've got any ideas for what he could have named them as well, send them through via voicemail, or you can message us directly on Instagram as well. Another quick break, and we'll be back with a rousing round of Yours Please. Mike Lane, when you listen on the iHeartRadio app, we have the opportunity for you to send us a voicemail.
Yep.
It's called the talkback function. It's a little microphone button on your iHeartRadio app. Someone has done just that, and we like to call this Yours Please.
Yours Please? Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
This one came in response to our talk about the microchipped mouthguards.
Oh, yep.
Listener, Yours Please.
Fat Cato Dixon here. I'm thinking with the chips in the mouthguard for head knocks and Super Rugby, it'd be great in the bottom of the screen if when one of the mouthguards is triggered, a little 70 pops up and a sound like 180 from the darts come up like 70! He is out of here! But in the crowd still do while we clap them off. It'd be great.
That's one of the best talkbacks we've had. What a great idea! So where the whole crowd starts going, yeah, da 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 da. And some guy's KO'd because it's hit 100 grams of pressure or whatever.
Yeah. So have it. So after a sickening hit, because you know when they happen, then the thing pops up on the screen, and I don't think it just shows the numbers straight away. I think it bing, and while it's doing that, the whole crowd's going, oh, unconscious, 70. That's the only way that you can spice that up. God, that would be funny. That would go viral around the world. I mean, we're kind of dancing on the graves of these guys getting knocked out, but that would just...
Oh, that'd be funny.
I think the next time, because from time to time they come to us with like, how can we make the games more fun at the ground? It's like, put this on the big screen.
Live reading of head knocks.
180. TAB, open up a book on it. Is someone going to cop a 70 grammer?
Oh, even stick a camera in the HIA room as well when they're asking them the questions. What day is it?
7.
And everyone in the crowd's going, Saturday!
Oh, that would be quite good. Mate, run that at halftime like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
Can I phone a friend? Yes. You can only phone someone else who's also concussed.
Yes. They need to turn the HIA into the chase situation where
they got what's his name? Bradley Walsh back there.
Can I go to the crowd? You can.
You
go
can.
to the crowd, and they go to the crowd, and the crowd is like, Wednesday. Just stitch them up. It's Wednesday. No, it's Saturday, you idiot.
We don't play on Wednesdays. We don't play on Wednesdays. You know this. That is a brilliant idea. Thank you very much for sending that one, and that is one of the best that we've ever had. Just before we knock this one on the head for a Friday, Lane, a few stories that caught my eye this morning. In the tranquil expanses of North America's woodlands and grasslands, a silent but concerning phenomenon is unfolding. Chronic wasting disease is a condition often dubbed zombie deer disease, and it is stealthily spreading among deer populations, sparking concerns among scientists and the public that it could jump from deer to humans. If the zombie apocalypse happens, what is your plan? Because I feel like every man has thought about his zombie apocalypse plan.
I don't know if I have thought about my plan. I don't own any firearms.
No.
Oh, I own a lot of cricket bats, and I've watched a lot of movies, mainly Shaun of the Dead and stuff. That cricket bats can work if you explode their heads. So,
do you take the Shaun of the Dead approach where you go down to the Windsor and just wait for it all to blow over?
Yeah, maybe you go to a pub.
Pub's not a bad idea.
I don't think I'm going to be the man who's going to save the world.
No.
So I'd probably just lean into being a zombie. It looks quite fun.
Oh, I mean,
that's my plan.
I, at the best of times, am fairly zombie-ish as a person.
Yeah.
Like I just sort of wander around very slowly anyway, just eating things and.
Yeah, I don't think I've thought of a plan. So would
You haven't?
No, I don't know why I haven't. Maybe I've got better things to do.
I don't, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. I've spent
What's yours?
A lot of time. I've got a very simple plan, and in fact, I can explain it to you in 2 words, and that is monster truck.
You got access to one?
I reckon if the zombie apocalypse is coming, I can figure it out. I have looked into this. Someone had one for sale in Christchurch.
Yeah.
So, and they had the address listed as to where you could come and view it. I was like, zombie apocalypse, I'm just going down and stealing that. And then there's a system of caves out the back of Waimate, just through the gorge there. So I reckon I'm out there with my monster truck. I can see for miles across the dairy farms.
Yeah.
I got my monster truck in case I get overwhelmed.
You got to sleep though.
I do have to sleep. I'm sleeping in the cave. I know a lot of people want to go water, go over to an island on the presumption that zombies can't swim, which I think is a fair presumption.
Can they drive stuff? Can they get in a boat?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, this is another interesting point that you raise. What kind of zombies are we dealing with?
Are they full reet, like full tard zombies?
Yeah, because that's the only time I'm doing that. If we're dealing with sprinting zombies, like 28 days later sprinting zombies, I'm out. I'm just going to offer myself up to the first zombie because that's no life. But I think the wandering, like arms out in front zombies, I think you could. I think it'd be fun for at least a couple of months.
Yeah, it's true.
Just to be on the lam, just fucking zombies up left, right, and centre. I think that'd be fun. Right up until the food starts running out, you realise how inept you are as a hunter gatherer.
Yeah, it's true. You're on the dairy farm as well. You've got to eat the cows. Someone's going to have to butcher the cows.
Yeah.
You got experience in that, so you
I
can
do.
that.
I am. That's actually one of the only transferable skills I have. If anyone needs a podcast recorded, I could do that as well. But yeah, butchering animals would probably be my only, and access to a monster truck would be my.
So getting back to it though, the zombie deer disease. So are they basically dying in front of them, like they're walking around, kind of like?
They start deteriorating. What do they call it? Chronic wasting disease.
But they die.
They die eventually.
Yeah.
But they walk around like they appear like zombies because all the meat's fallen off them and they're just wandering around.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. All I'm saying.
Well, someone's going to have sex with one, and it's going to be all over. It's the whole AIDS story all over again.
100%. Later on this afternoon, I'm going to be on a flight, so this story is of interest to me. An American Airlines flight was forced to make an emergency landing in New Mexico after a disruptive passenger allegedly tried to open an emergency exit door. One of the Barstool guys, you know,
Yes.
the Wonton Don guy,
Yeah.
he does all the travel blogs for them.
Yeah.
He was on the flight.
Yeah, he went over and helped. He sat on him, didn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that, you know, if someone did that, have you thought, is this another one of those situations, I know it is for me, where you've run through the situation in your head?
I have actually. I've thought about this. I've been on a lot of flights and how you'd approach it. And I'd like to think that some other passengers would help you out. Like, I don't think they're going to leave you on your own.
Yeah.
So if you were the first on the scene, I don't feel like you're going to be hung out to dry. I think there'll be some other roosters who will come and help you.
And I think most people need that. They need to see
Yeah.
the first person doing
Yeah.
it, and then they need to see you pushing your car along the motorway, then they'll hop out
Yeah.
and push the car too.
Yeah. So I have thought about that.
So
And
have I.
Kind of. You haven't got many weapons on a plane, have you? They don't give you any more knives and forks and stuff. So
But
it's
neither does he.
Full hand to hand, full sit on him, knees to the head, UFC,
Yeah.
side punching, choke him out.
I feel like you would, like, there's enough incentive in there for you as well, because if this guy manages to open the door,
Yeah, he
like,
did.
You did.
Yeah.
So it's you'd be filled with the strength of 12 tigers if you saw someone.
Also,
pulling
if
on
he
the door.
opens it, you're getting sucked out with him, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. So you're gonna need to commit to stopping him.
Yeah.
You can't sort of half-ass it, because if you're holding onto him and he gets the door open and gets sucked out, you're both out there.
Yeah.
In that instance, are you still fighting him on the way down to your imminent death?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I am.
You motherfucker. Yeah, I have thought about this because I flew when, I think I've told the story before, after MH370 went missing. A week later, plane got shot down over Ukraine, and then a week later, I flew over Ukraine.
Oh, God.
And I just remember my mate telling me, swing first. Whatever happens, just swing first. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and a kid was running up the aisle, and I was like, what the fuck? It woke me up. And I thought, oh, God, it's on here. I thought it was an adult. And I look
Were
around.
you on the Malaysian Airlines?
Yeah, I was on Malaysian Airlines. So I was like, Jesus Christ. I start looking around, and there's 3 other dudes looking at me as well.
Twitchy?
Like, yeah, like, no, not thinking I was going to do something. They saw him running as well, and they were giving me the, like, fuck, are we on here? Are we on?
Let's roll.
Fellas?
Let's roll.
Yeah, it was a great unifying moment. A couple more stories just to wrap up here. Bobby the dog has posthumously been stripped of his title as the world's oldest dog ever over a dispute about his real age. Guinness World Records said it had no evidence that Bobby was actually as old as his owners claimed. The owners said that he had a microchip that proved his age, and Guinness World Records were like, it doesn't really, does it? Like you could put a microchip in any dog and just say, that doesn't prove that it was born at a certain time.
Well, how do you prove it? They haven't got birth certificates.
Well, this is what I was going to ask you. Like, how would you prove how old a dog? I guess if you had, like, you'd have to somehow,
Photos?
document the birth of this dog. Bobby, originally from Portugal, died in October last year at the reported age of 31 years and 165 days. I don't think that was quite as old as I was expecting.
I was expecting more than that.
Yeah.
But even that, I've seen dogs that are 15 years old that are just shitting themselves everywhere. And
Yeah.
like, it doesn't sound like a good life.
No, the average age of the breed that dog was about 15. The previous oldest dog ever, which has now been reinstated, is an Australian dog called Bluey.
Must have been a blue healer, I'd say.
I presume so, who died in 1939 at the age of 29 years and 5 months. Bullshit. I reckon
Yeah,
they're all-
1939. That is bullshit. They go, that dog looks old. How old? Mate, she's about 29.
Yeah. And then he would have got a couple of laughs at the pub and been like, right, I'm writing this into the rocks. Just finally, an exorbitant suitcase purchase has turned heads at the Invercargill City Council. It's just come out that they spent $750 on a suitcase, the Invercargill City Council, for the sole purpose of bringing gifts home from Japan Strong criticism from elected members. I can't imagine the community's very happy about this either. It was a single hard shell case to transport a bamboo bowl and a porcelain plate back to New Zealand. How do you think the people of Invercargill are going to take that?
They're gonna put them on they're gonna burn them at the stake.
I reckon a farmer's going to drive his bloody effluent spreader up to the front door of Parliament and just be like,
this is great. This is regional politics. This is local politics to a T.
Yep.
Going over on these research missions to sister cities. You know how everyone sister city. Oh, my sister city's New York.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over and see them for a bit.
Invercargill's one's in Japan.
Yeah.
What's never in Iraq. You know, no one's got a sister city in
Damascus.
Yeah.
My sister city is Damascus in Syria. And
Yeah.
we're going over. See ya.
Bullshit, you are. Invercargill City Council wouldn't have happened under Boult, tell you that for nothing, but
Oh, yeah, mate. Totes.
wouldn't have bloody happened under Boult. All right, that'll do us for today. We'll knock this one on the head. Enjoy your massive weekend of sport, and we will see you on Monday for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.